Okay, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to OTC. This is a free training available to all members or non-members, and we're going to go through a few different topics today. But my hope is that I can answer some questions live. So, if you do have any questions as we start going through things, feel free to comment your question. Uh, Either if you're watching it on YouTube, I think you comment at the bottom, and I think if you're watching it via OTC, there's a comment icon somewhere to click. But take a look at that. So if you're watching this from the recording, you can feel free to skip forward and back to whatever you feel will be most useful. All right, so I'm going to share my screen now, and I'm going to introduce OTC a little bit and show you how to navigate it and make the most out of the website. And then we'll get into some common questions that new members or new teachers moving into the industry kind of have. So let me share my screen here. Okay, so here you can see the homepage for OTC. So when you first join OTC, you will see something like this. Let me open this in a new window. You'll get this page if you're not logged in. OTC Pro is a premium service we have, but it's totally optional. But yeah, here is where you can sign up if you haven't already. I think we're going to get rid of this pop-up actually on this page. It's a bit annoying. It's not supposed to show up there. But anyway, you can just enter your email if you're not already a member and click sign up. So if you're watching on YouTube and you want to join, feel free to go ahead and do that if you want to get inside. Okay, so once you join, you'll be directed to the news feed. And this is where all the posts and messages that come through OTC are displayed. So from the online teaching job board, from the South African space, from the teacher lounge, from the student swap area, from all the different groups and chat kind of groups. If you want to see what's the latest bit of information or latest thing that's been posted, click on the feed here. And feel free to scroll down and obviously the information about the training that we're doing now. And then later on today, we have a training just for OTC Pro members, which is going to get more into marketing, finding students and converting leads into paid students. All right, so the best place to start when you come to OTC, for most teachers, I feel like most teachers, when they first join OTC, first thing on their mind is, I want to get job. I want to find a job. I want to get hired. I want to start working online and getting paid. Their first thought isn't usually, I want to launch my own online teaching company and have 10 people working for me. Most people are not there yet, although they may eventually move to that stage later when they decide, I'm sick of these companies. They only pay $10 to $15 an hour. Some of them even pay me $9. They don't fill my schedule. They cancel last minute and don't pay me. It's, honestly, the market for online teaching, it's very saturated. And there are lots of companies out there, but there's a huge supply. There's an endless supply of native English speakers. I'm talking about the ESL market specifically. So companies can set lower rates and still get applications. So if a company could get teachers that they consider good enough for $10 an hour, and they know if they put out an ad, they'll get enough people at that rate, what's their incentive to charge more? There isn't, unless they're a more premium school and they want to provide a more premium service with teachers with QTS or postgraduate certificate in education or something like that. They might pay more, but most companies don't care, and most parents don't See, it depends on the parent, but a lot of parents don't look into it deeply and they just want a native speaker. So that's why the market the way it is, and that's why companies are getting away with paying teachers sometimes less than minimum wage in their own country. That's why I always say if you enjoy teaching online and you want to make this a full-time thing, you have to eventually move towards freelancing and finding your own students and marketing yourself. It's basically the only way long term. You might be lucky and you might get with one company or two companies for 6 months that are great, but then they crash, or the company hires too many teachers and the hours are spread too thinly. Like there's it's not as hard as people make out to market yourself and find your own students. And the market is so large that even though there are competition from these companies, a lot of parents and a lot of individual students learning business English or IELTS or whatever, they're leaning more towards going direct with a teacher than one of these big EnglishABC.com type platforms, mega platforms. Because they've probably tried a platform like that, had a bad experience, got different teachers each time, and not felt that they got real value from it. So especially in China. So in China, these big platforms are illegal now. In theory, depending on where they're hosted, but it's not easy for a Chinese mainland company to set up and start offering extra tuition to kids, because there's a lot of regulation there now. So a lot of Chinese parents now are kind of looking to cut out the middleman and go direct with teachers overseas. So the market for China is quite strong right now for independent teachers because of that. All right, so feel free if you do have any questions. We've got 8 people on YouTube now and 3 on OTC. I did only announce this yesterday, so that's probably why. But if you do have any questions, or if you just want to introduce yourself as we're going through things, feel free to post. I think we have Shubhoshri Dio and Tivian Lachmanan. Now, please, apologies if I've pronounced your name wrong. And on YouTube, we've got Sam Davies. Okay. All right, I can't see any of the others. The others are anonymous, but welcome. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. Okay, so you're an OTC member. You've already gone to the job board and you wanted to get started. You've never taught before and you think I do recommend going for companies first, getting your experience before you move into freelancing and starting your own company. But when you're starting out, companies are good stepping stones. So have a look. We have 2 sponsored posts here. This just means these companies have paid to have their opportunity at the top of the job board. It doesn't mean they're better or worse than anyone else. OutSchool is a very good company for teaching halfway between independently and with a company. So you're still using a platform, but you're setting your own rate of pay, you're choosing your own hours, and you're marketing for students within that platform. It is very competitive, and you have to have very specific niches and ideas of things that you're going to teach. So I used to teach an AI course. It's called Pokemon AI and Art Design. So we did a course where students have to use, we did take ESL students, so who also wanted to prove their English, but they wanted to learn through some fun extracurricular activity. So we had them create vocabulary, adjectives, describing words to put into AI generators to create their own Pokemon cards. But it was super fun. And then we created animations at the end where two of the children's Pokemon cards would fight each other, and the AI would choose who the winner is. So it was like a tournament, but it turned out quite effective. Students loved it, and we run that for almost 2 years. Shortly before I launched OTC, we took a step back from that. All right, so Cambly is kind of a school for the masses. Let's put it that way. Conversational school for the masses. You get pretty much every type of person, adults and kids and students. And how it works is they log in, they choose a teacher who's online already. You will receive a call, you accept it or decline it, and then you're paid per minute of talk time. So I used to know teachers who did very well on Cambly years ago. I'm not sure what it's like now, but it is an option. And because Cambly has no minimum requirement of teaching, it's good to have as a backup. While you're working for this company, you can also be signed up to Cambly and have a few hours open here and there just in case. Or you can even like log into Cambly when you're bored and you've got like 2 hours between 2 classes. You can log in and say, make myself available to live calls, and you might get somebody randomly calling you. Then you get paid per minute. There's pros and cons to that platform. The pay is not very good, but there it is. So yeah, what you can do is go and have a look through all this. I'm going to scroll because there's hundreds of jobs here that have been posted. Both by our, if it's from OTC Jobs, it means we've done the research, found the opportunity, and shared it here. It's from someone else. The Relegate Teacher Company hires a lot of South Africans, and they post here quite often. So feel free to scroll down this page under jobs and see what you can find. I do recommend the tactic for applying for these positions is to apply to it's a numbers game. Apply to lots of companies at the same time. You may think, oh, I don't have time to do all that. It's actually very easy. The thing with online teaching jobs and applying for them, all the companies want the same things. They want to see a 1-page resume, 1 to 3 minute introduction video. Is that it? Yeah, 2 things. So a 1-page resume, a 1 to 3 minute introduction video, maybe a paragraph within the body of the email, and then maybe upload your TESOL certificate if you've got one. But honestly, a mistake a lot of teachers use. So I used to recruit for some of the big Chinese companies, and one of the mistakes a lot of teachers, well, I'll go through all the different mistakes they make. So often they will create a resume that's 12 pages long and doesn't enlist their nationality. Like when a recruiter is getting an application, they're ticking off requirements. Okay, so they've already decided what they want to hire. Okay, we're hiring native teachers, or we're hiring native and non-native teachers. So do you meet the nationality requirement? Do you meet the qualification requirement? Do they want a degree, or do they just want a TESOL certificate, or do they just accept experience? So make sure you're applying to the right positions, and make sure all these key pieces of information are on the first page of your resume. Recruiters just don't have time. If they send you an email that's 1,000 words long with a 10-page resume attached and 6 other requirements of random qualifications you've got, they're going to see that and go, oh, can't be bothered. I've got 1,000 other email applicants. I'll just move on to the next one. So you need to make your application concise. So I recommend no longer than 1 page for your resume. I'd recommend using something like Canva to design your resume. So let's take a look here. If you go to Canva and you just search resume, you'll get a bunch of templates. So here's mine. I'm not going to zoom in as it's got personal information, but as you can see, it's a single page resume. Here's an example of another teacher. So as you can see, it's got the most important information at the top. Here is Let me close this. So recruiter can come in and say, okay, teacher looks professional. He can wear a shirt and a tie, good. He's from South Africa. We count South Africa as native speakers in our company, so we'll accept him. They want to know his education. He doesn't have education based on education, but Bible and theology, business and commerce. A lot of companies will say, oh, and especially if he was applying for a company teaching business English, they will be especially happy about that. They most likely won't bother reading you about me just because they're going through applications too fast and they can get to know you during the interview. So if they can see that you meet the qualification requirement, you meet the nationality requirement, you meet the age requirement, which some of them have, unfortunately, and there's a picture so I can see that you know how to look presentable and groomed on camera, then most of the time they'll just say, okay, that's enough. Invite them to an interview. And then that's when they decide whether to hire you or not. But if you've got a resume that's 15 pages long and they're searching through it and they can't find where you've listed your nationality or where you've listed your education, they give up and they move on to the next applicant. So make sure your resume is well created like that. What I'll show you next is the introduction video, and I actually recommend you spend more effort than most teachers on your introduction video. It is really important. Mine is 2 minutes and 59 seconds long. Yours might be a minute or 40 seconds or 4 minutes. I'd say maximum 4 minutes because people won't watch it all if it's 7 or 8 minutes. They'll watch half of it and then make their decision. So here's the introduction video I made 4 years ago, and it's been very successful for me on platforms like OutSchool and italki, where I used to recruit students, and also with my own students via my contacts in Taiwan and Vietnam and mainland China, Hong Kong. I've never had a student that I've sent this video to who said, no, I don't think this teacher is suitable for me. Most of the time it leads to a demo class, and a demo class leads to a paying student. So I'm going to play it for you. You can take a look at it, and then I can explain some of the features that I added to make this introduction video convert at a higher rate. So first you can see there's a thumbnail, so I would recommend setting a thumbnail. That's the image that's displayed before the video starts, as you can see. So add a nice thumbnail. This just explains that I'm a teacher, explains that I work on Zoom and Skype. This was a long time ago. We don't use Zoom and Skype anymore. And it displays the countries of students that I've worked with and the country of my nationality, and my qualifications are bachelor's in education. Okay, let's have a listen.
สวัสดีครับผมชื่อเฟซครับผมเป็นครูสอนภาษาอังกฤษแล้วก็ผมเป็นคนอังกฤษด้วยครับ I've been teaching.
So apologies, it does start in Thai. The reason for that is this video was originally made for italki. italki is a platform for teaching languages online, but they often want teachers who already speak more than one language. So you have to prove that in the video, which is why I speak Thai at the introduction, even though I'm not specifically targeting Thai students with this video. It's kind of an open video, but if other students can see that you speak more than one language, it can be an advantage too, as they can see that you understand the process of learning a new language, which is what you're teaching. So it can help.
English all around Asia and online for the last 10 years. I have students from Thailand, China, Korea, Japan, the Middle East, Turkey, and even Europe. I'm a fully qualified English teacher. I graduated from Paris College of International Education with a bachelor's in education, and my major was in teaching English to speakers of other languages. I also hold a 120-hour TESOL certificate and an IELTS teaching qualification.
So with regards to the content, introduce yourself quickly, explain your qualifications and your background, and then move on to your experience and teaching style. It's really simple. You just got to get those core features in.
While teaching in Asia, I got the chance to learn about all the different languages over in Asia. This gave me a better understanding of what students there struggle with when it comes to pronunciation, grammar, and sentence structure. A lot of the issues speakers of other languages have when they learn English all comes from mother tongue interference. This is when your first language interferes with the language that you're learning. It can affect your pronunciation, your grammar, and the way you structure your sentences. I can teach you how to use your mouth, throat.
So I'm explaining a little bit about my teaching style and teaching methodology and my opinions on teaching languages to students and how I believe it should be done. So you might notice as you go through the video, while I was talking, I'm sitting like this. So I recorded the whole thing once, sitting at my desk, talked through the whole script. I took breaks. I'd read like a paragraph. As you can see, I actually had the script here on my, you can see here, this is the script. So I was just reading from that, one paragraph at a time, and then stick all the parts together. But as you can see, as I talk and go through it, you don't always just see one view of me. So I've done something called B-roll. B-roll is when you create secondary video material to overlay on your core material, which is your monologue. And it just makes the video more interesting. It makes people don't lose their interest as quickly when it's switching between different things. And you can show a bit of your personality, teaching style by doing this. So you could have a scene where you're walking a dog up near your house or something, or a scene when you're just making a coffee in the morning or something like that. Something to show your personality and what you do. Is here I did a lot of basically pretending to teach with nobody there.
Asia and online for the last 10 years. I have students from Thailand, China, Korea, Japan, the Middle East, and an IELTS teaching qualification. While teaching in Asia, I got the chance to learn about all the different languages over in Asia. This gave me a better when they're learning English. I offer 3 main types of classes: conversational English for adults, conversational English, phonics, and all the major skills: listening, speaking.
So at the end, one of the last things you need to tell your student after you've explained who you are, your background, your education, and your teaching style, the next thing is to explain what's going to actually happen if they take a class with you. Is it going to be a one-off lesson? Is it going to be structured and planned? Are you going to follow courseware material? Or are you going to just blag it? They want to know what it's going to be like to study with you. And I design courses over 30 hours. We have structured courses, as I explain here.
And reading for kids. And I also help students prepare for their IELTS and TOEFL examinations. I offer individual one-off lessons and also 20-hour courses. My courses have a clear goal and are structured with different topics set out for the whole 20 hours. We will also have progress reports every 5 or 10 lessons. For conversational classes, I will ask you lots of different questions on lots of different topics. You can also choose and suggest the topics that you wish to discuss. I'll listen very carefully when you're speaking, and at the end, I will offer you lots of corrections and ideas on how to improve the way that you speak. For kids classes, I have a patient, relaxed, and fun teaching style. I like to use lots of props and games and role play in my lessons, and I think it's important that they're having fun while they're in my class, as it's proven that children learn best when they're having fun and enjoying the class. For my IELTS classes, I can run through mock tests.
As you can probably see, my speciality is teaching young children. My official background is I'm a qualified primary school teacher, and I worked in primary schools before, and that's what I like, that's what I'm good at. So that's the niche I generally target. Although I have had periods of time when I did some business English teaching and IELTS and TOEFL preparation, my focus has been phonics and basic sentence structure and grammar for young children. Yeah. Okay, so you can get an idea You're probably seeing this and thinking, oh, I can't do something like this. It's not that hard. All you have to do is film one monologue. So that means find a nice place to sit, an office or a coffee shop or somewhere. Film one long monologue for 2 to 3 minutes. Then think of 10 different things you can do B-roll of. Maybe one sat at your laptop pretending to do TPR while you're teaching. Another walking in the countryside near your house with your dog. Okay. Another drinking a cup of coffee in the morning in a coffee shop. Like it can be anything. If you're let it show your personality. If you're into taekwondo, have some video of you doing a taekwondo throw or kick or something. It's important to kind of show your personality in the B-roll as well. All right, so I've kind of explained now what is holding a lot of people back when they're applying and why they're not getting those jobs. Hello, so I'm just reading a couple comments now. I'm staying in Bangkok, Thailand. I'm based in Hat Yai, south of Thailand. 11 years in IT, but don't have any experience in teaching. How do I start myself as a freelancer or in remote teaching? So that's a good question. That's what OTC is designed for, especially OTC Pro. So you might want to have a look at OTC Pro. I'll send you the link in the chat. Even if you're not interested in OTC Pro, OTC is a platform by itself. We do have lots of training and posts on freelancing and finding your own students, being a remote teacher online. It's something I've done for over 10 years, and I've been helping other teachers move into that too. I have also offered consultation if you're interested in things like that. But the best thing to do is have a look at all the free stuff that's available at OTC and go through the courses and the information and the mini lessons and things like that. All right, so I think we're going to wrap that call up today, as I need to prepare the next call. But if you've got any questions before we wrap up, feel free to post them in the chat and I'll get back to you. So just to summarize, today we've talked about getting started using OTC, where to go, where to find the jobs. I've talked about the best practices for applying for jobs, sending only a one-page resume, a 3-minute introduction video, and a short written paragraph in the email body. That's all you need. Go and send it to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 companies. See what comes back. Negotiate later. Most teachers work for more than one company at the same time because most companies don't offer you a full-time hours and full-time income. Different companies, different rules, different hours, different ways of working. So you've got to, unfortunately, if you're going down the route of working for other people, you kind of have to play the market a little bit and work for different schools at the same time. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly fine. Most teachers do it. I'm going to completely butcher your name. Enko Nokosinthando, maybe. Apologies. Sorry, I'm terrible with names. Netta is your name. But anyway, so you want to know any tips on finding your own students. So there are many ways to find your own students. We'll get into this quickly and then we'll end this call today. So we're going to go deeper into this topic in the OTC Pro training. That's for OTC Pro members that'll start after this session. So you want to find your own paying students. Firstly, students need to know where you are and what you offer. So you got to first decide what is going to be your niche. What part of teaching are you going to offer? So if you put yourself out on the internet and you say, I teach all types of nationalities, I teach all types of students, I teach all types of subjects and levels, you're throwing out a huge net, but it's not hitting everyone, not hitting anyone, because it's too wide. If I'm a student, let's say I'm a Vietnamese student and I want to study to improve and pass my IELTS test. Okay, I have a look online on social media and I see a couple teachers. One guy says he does absolutely everyone for everything. The other guy says he specializes working with Vietnamese students. He understands the common mother tongue interference caused by Vietnamese learners learning English, and he also specializes in helping people pass through the IELTS exam. So you want to niche down, choose one very specific niche that you want to teach. It could be business English targeting hotels in China, or it could be phonics targeting parents of young learners in mainland China. Whatever. You've got to choose a specific niche first, and then you've got to make yourself that niche. So you've got to make sure all your social media profiles, make sure you've got them. Make sure you are in the places that your students hang out. So if your students are Chinese, they're not on Facebook, unless they're using VPNs, but they're on Redbook and the Chinese social media websites. So you need to make sure you're on those too. You need to be where students hang out. And you need to, firstly, I don't recommend spending money on paid Google and Facebook ads when you're just starting out. First, I spend at least 6 months just building your brand. So creating lots of content that explains who you are and what you offer. And I'm not saying you should do lots of salesy content. Every post shouldn't be buy my classes, discount, buy my classes. Your post should be offering support and free help to the community in your niche. You should then join different groups on social media and Reddit and other forums where you find students that are in your niche discussing things. Jump in there and help people for free. Plug in your social media link at the end, and you start building a following over time organically. And eventually you'll get to the stage, if you're posting every day, you're engaging with other people in the platforms, eventually you'll get to the stage where you're not actually searching for a student. You just create your profile and your presence, and students found you. And you'll start getting messages. This has happened to me. You'll start getting messages from students. So I'll show you the Facebook group that I direct students to. This is one of many social media platforms that I use. Teacher Fraser. So here's a course we had recently, vibe coding for AI and kids. But I've had many, oh, this is my personal messages, but I've had many messages just come organically. Students have found me online and they've sent me a message. Hey, can you teach my daughter English from 5 to 8 p.m. on a Wednesday? I just get random messages like that all the time. That allowed me to build Flair Kid, our company, and we now have 10 teachers and students in 4 different countries. All right, we're going to wrap that up for now. Some of you I will see in the OTC Pro training, so hope to see some of you there. If you're interested in learning more about OTC Pro, feel free to click on the link in the chat, or just click up here. Oops. Yeah, up here, OTC Pro Plus. All right, guys, thanks for joining today. I hope some of that was helpful and supportive, and I hope to see you in another call soon. Unfortunately, it didn't get as many questions as I was hoping for this time, but I only announced the training 1 day before, so maybe I should announce it 1 week before in future. All right, guys, thank you, and happy teaching.